It is May 25th, day one of DefenseCon, the Drake Expo that's separate from the normal Invictus Expo. There's a lot to get into, guys. Let's go. There are 2 days left and only 5 waves to get the Drake Kraken and Drake Kraken Privateer. As for new Warbonds, it is the Caterpillar down here. Of course, it's Drake Day, so that does make sense. I know a lot of people were hoping for the Cuddy Black and or the Buccaneer, but to no avail. They're repeating the Caterpillar. It's okay. It fits into a lot of high-end chains. It's a good one to have. I'm a little bummed that the Buck and or, well, I mean, there's plenty of other Drake ships too, right? So anyway, let's get into it. So $30 savings right off the bat. The Harbinger makes the easy best choice because you save the most. You spend 10, save 30. Look at this. That's a good one. Next up is a Sentinel. Oh, and the Harbinger, obviously, it has had a very recent Warbond sale. Makes sense to grab that one. Well, it's had a few, right? So it's had one in 2022, and then this one that was very recent. It's relatively rare. This is only the second time it's had a Warbond come up during, it was during Aegis Day. Sentinel is pretty good as well. The Sentinel has had more. I think it's had 3, maybe 4 that I can think of. But anyway, this one's a spend 25 to save 30. That's still a decent ratio, folks. So if you have a Sentinel and you just want to complete your chain, you could do that one as well. But again, you're leaving another $15 on the table, and there won't be a Warbond that would recover or recoup that $15 for like the Harbinger down to the Sentinel, most likely. I suppose it's possible if they did a spend 5 to save 10 kind of thing. I don't think that would happen. So yeah, I again still recommend the Harbinger, but the Sentinel is pretty good too. If you've already got it and want to just jump ahead and get that chain done. The Blade is in the same bracket as the Sentinel. Spend 25 to save 30. The Blade has had a few, usually during Alien Week. In fact, last Alien Week it had its own Warbond. This Alien Week, look, we haven't expanded the amount, the raw quantity of alien ships, really. I think the Sulin and the Centaur are the only ones that have increased the size pool of alien ships. So you've got the Asperia ships. So there's like a couple there. You've got the Banu Merchantman and the Defender. You've got the Blade, and the Glaive has never showed up, so I wouldn't count on that one. Again, any of them that are not in the store normally, I would not count on them ever having a Warbond CCU at the very least, until Squadron 42 releases and the newest versions of the alien ships arrive in the verse. So don't count on those unless you're really playing a long game and you want to, speculate that they will come around. Just so keep that in mind. Especially with the Glaive and the Scythe. Anyway, getting back to the Blade, it's had at least one. I think it may have had 2. I just can't remember when that second one was, but I seem to recall another time when it had a Warbond CCU. The only one I can remember specifically and have dates for is last year's Alien Week. Again, that's also listed in the CCU game app. So you can check that out for dates. It's probably as good of a pick in the 275 range as a Sentinel. If you had to pick between these, a Sentinel has had more, so I'd probably pick the Sentinel. The Apollo Medevac, bad choice. Not a terrible choice. I mean, you're spending 25 to save 30, and this price will increase. If this goes up to if it hits $300, you'd pay 25 to save 5. Yeah, that's not that great. Or wait, no. Yeah, that's what it would be. So if the price of the Apollo Medevac hits $300, you will have spent $25 to save $5. I mean, technically you'd still be saving money, but it seems an inefficient way to do it. And that's why we try to not do concept ships over here on the left side when buying Warbond CCU on the right. What else do we have? But I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second, if I can. I definitely will, actually. I'll use the brand new Drake ships as part of that. Warden is, again, $260. You're leaving a lot of money on the table. You're spending 40 to save 30. That's not a good ratio. I can't think of a reason why you would want to do this. And the rest of the stuff underneath the Warden, again, you're leaving way more money on the table. I mean, the same price at the 260, but the 250 for all these other ships, it just doesn't make sense. I know the 400i, the Ion, the Inferno, the Corsair, and the MSR have all had quite a few Warbonds. It's just you're spending 40 to save 30. It does not compute for a ratio of savings. Getting back here real quick, we do have the Saber still available. Where's the Saber? Boop. Wherever the hell it is. I don't know. If you haven't gotten the Saber and or Retaliator yet, you probably either don't need them or you're waiting for some other better sale. I don't know. Yeah, they're still here. So if you do still need them, or if you're holding out for whatever reason, pick them up, because it makes sense to grab them. They will probably stay, again, because they're still here today on Drake Day. They're probably going to stay till the end of the event, maybe even a little bit longer, because they are effectively new ships. The Saber is definitely a new ship. The Retaliator is basically a massive revamp and kind of new functionality added to the game, so it's kind of in the same boat. And I'm anticipating that both of those will stay around until probably a little longer than the event, but we shall see. Somebody brought up that I should talk more about some concept ideas, and I'm cool with that, so let's roll with it. Let's go to a good one, the Ironclad Assault. This is a concept ship right now. Just came out. I'm definitely going to pick up this exact Warbond, this non-Warbond CCU today. So it's $5 to go from the M2 to the Ironclad Assault. And I think I want to go, instead of getting a Liberator, which I've already basically got built, and I'm gonna walk you through how I screwed up on that chain. But I think I'm going to go up to the Ironclad Assault, or maybe even just the Ironclad. So here's the Ironclad. What options do we have here? What, the Prowler? So it's 20. Oh, it's 10. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm probably going to add this and buy them both with in-store credit. I'm going to walk through why I'm doing that. At the very least, because I might actually want one of them. I don't think I'm going to have both. I think I kind of want the Ironclad, though. So it's a better version of the Liberator. It's got a ridiculous amount of cargo space. I think they said 1,500. Let me get the actual number here. They say it's got 1,536 SCU of cargo space. That is almost 3 times what a C2 has. And obviously, based on all the pictures and information we have from the Ironclad, it can absolutely land on a planet that has atmosphere. It's a deployment ship, right? Cargo ship specifically, unless you get the other version here, the Ironclad Assault. But that's a ridiculous amount. And the Ironclad Assault actually has a repair facility. It's a small one. It's not like the Crucible where you can just land a certain size of ship or something. It looks like it'll be limited to something like the Pisces, maybe not even ships. Just to be clear, they have not said it's a ship repair facility, and because of its location, it kind of looks like it's only going to be for ground vehicles, but it's still a repair facility. I like that. I kind of like ships that have value adds like that in them. So, getting back to the speculative stuff, let's say I wanted any of the ships that are above the Ironclad's price right now. It's a $450 ship in its concept pricing. In fact, we go over to the standalone. Let's go up to the top here. Here's concept pricing for the Ironclad, $450. You can buy it outright in the store for $400 with a Warbond and concept. This is like a double discount. For those of you that are just joining the game, this is the best price you will get if you want to buy the ship outright in the store. It is concept and it's Warbond. Ships never go down in price, guys. Just get that into your heads. They are never going to get lowered in price, except on like a sale, an actual sale item, or playing the CCU game. So this $400 price point for the Ironclad base model is as cheap as it will possibly get if you want to buy it outright. Going back here, you'll notice that the price here is $450. That is just concept pricing. It is not a Warbond CCU. However, if I wanted any of the ships that are priced higher than it, the 600i Explorer, the M2 Herc, the Ironclad Assault, the Liberator, the Carrack, the Perseus, the Nautilus, or the Hammerhead A2 and Polaris, well, it makes sense that I would buy it right now because this price will increase. How much? Who knows? But if I spend $10 right now, I will guarantee some amount of savings when the Ironclad launches in the verse because it will raise in price. Because this is an armored freighter and or transport multi-role, a true multi-role vehicle here, it could literally do the job of the Liberator, the Caterpillar, the sort of maybe the Crucible. Again, that one's kind of up in the air, and it's only the assault version, right? So maybe I'll just do the Ironclad Assault. I'll have to figure out how much cargo space it has because that's kind of why I would want to get it. But it's so multi-role, I don't want to turn it down. And it's Drake, and I kind of like the utilitarian purpose-built ships kind of more sometimes. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to love my Abandoned Merchantman, but I like these kinds of ships too from Drake. So, but here's the idea. This one's $450. It's going to raise in price. Is it going to be $500? Is it going to be $550? I have no idea. But if I need to go to any of these other ships, I can buy a very cheap $5 CCU with store credit right now and lock in my $525 price point. And every dollar that this increases is another dollar that I save. So if this launches at $575, it only goes up $50, then I will have spent $5 to save $50. That is a hella good ratio, especially if you're using this in a chain to go to another savings amount at another higher price ship. It just stacks on. It's amazing. And you can do this throughout the stack. So if you go down to, let's see if the triage is over here. It's triage here. Wait, TRIA. There you go, Apollo Triage. Okay, so this is a $250 ship, right? If I buy a $10 upgrade to this, and I'm estimating that this is going to go to what? $275, $280? That makes sense. At least $275, right? $25 increase makes total sense. So then we do Apollo Triage over here just to see what you can upgrade to. Let's go in lowest. So at the very least, right now, it'd be a $10 to a Warden. You'll bypass the Warden. You'll probably bypass the Mercury. You'll probably bypass the Vanguard Sentinel because this will be a $75 ship. There's not you can't go from one similar price ship to the exact same price ship over here. It's not possible. Like there's no $250 ships over here, notice, because you have to go in increments of 5. So when you buy this at $250, you have to assume and speculate that it's going to be at a certain dollar amount. For the exercise here, I'm going to estimate $275. So the Vanguard Sentinel and Apollo Medevac in concept pricing will be out, right? So the next realistic one you could get would be the Vanguard Harbinger. So if you bought this right now for that $10 upgrade, and then it goes up to $275, then you're $15 away from the Harbinger instead of $40. So you will have spent $25 to get to $40, right? Even if this isn't a Warbond, right? But also, when this increases in price, ships that are $15 higher than this will be in play if it gets a Warbond CCU. So the Eclipse makes a viable choice. The Aquila, which we know can transition to some other things that I'm crying about because I screwed up this ILW totally and forgot to buy my Aquila to Gemini Warbond CCU, but I will go over that later in a painful, sad way. So yeah, the Aquila, the Mole, the Eclipse, all could have an actual Warbond come up and make it within a decent price distance of the Apollo Triage after it hits $275, $280, whatever that price is going to be. So that's kind of how you want to speculate if you're buying over here on the right if you're buying a concept ship. So that's how you speculate with concept ships over here without having to buy a Warbond CCU. You just buy a standard CCU. You can do it with new money if you really want, and it's still going to guarantee you savings in the future. And B, you can also just use store credit, right? So if I don't know how much store credit I have right now, but the idea would be, okay, Perseus, let's do the Liberator. Well, let's just stick with the Ironclad. Let's go with that one. So this is a $5 price. And at the very least, well, this one's released, so this isn't going to increase in price. So this is going to stay $520, right? This could be a $600 ship, but for the sake of the argument, let's say it only increases by $50 and it is $575. I would have spent $5 to basically net $45 in savings. That's just a killer. Just like the example I used with the triage. Are there any lower priced concept ships available? I do wonder. The SRV was there for a while. This one was a good one. I think it was $150, maybe $155. I don't remember, but it was cheap. I think I got one of those way back when. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to go with the really low end ones, like the Rangers. It's not a bad idea, but usually they increase like $5 or $10. So yeah, it's a savings. But the lower priced ones, again, in this range, 45 and less, 40 and less, really, you can almost always grab a Dragonfly Black or MPUV. Argo Cargo is a common one. What's the really cheap one? The, where is it? The Merlin or something. What is it called? I don't even see it here. Well, the Merlin is another one, right? Argo Cargo, and then the Hover Quad. Those have all been available for referral rewards. So try to not do it with these unless you're getting up into like the $55 to $60 range ones. Those would make sense. So if they come out with, I don't know, what's a good one that might have a new one? Oh, what's the G12 thing? The G12A, right? So the G12s, these might be a good example where, why are they not here? Oh, there it is. Jeez, I just didn't go up high enough. Okay, so yeah, this might be one that you could use, because if it increases by 5 or 10, you'll be at a $70 ship. That's not bad. So you can buy a $5 Warbond to the G12A, and the assumption is this is going to at least go from $65 to $70, maybe more, right? So at the very least, you'll spend $5 and save $5. At the best case scenario, you might spend $5 to get, $15 worth of savings. If this goes to, let's see what's reasonable. I mean, 75 would be reasonable. So that you'd spend $5 to save 10, right? That's pretty good. So that's how you would play a speculation on a concept ship specifically. So I've given three really good examples there. And you can do that throughout your chain as well, right? So if you're going to have, well, let's say you have a bunch of those 2018 or 19 300i Warbonds CCUs. Those were amazing. I wish I bought like 7 of those. It would have helped a whole lot. I think I only got like 1 or 2, and I kick myself every year it comes around. But if you had a couple of these, you could buy 3 of these or whatever to match them, and you're guaranteed another at least $5 savings in that chain. Now, it is speculation, so you don't know if it's going to link up with the next thing that you need to link up with. Let's say this went up to exactly to $75, right? So you spend $5 here for $60 to $65 value, $5 for $5, and then this goes up to $75. So you spent $5 to save 10, right? Because you get a $10 value out of it. Then you come over here and you do the G12. Kill this one. G12A, $65, right? Oh, actually, this is a bad example. I should go to $75. So you roll down to a $75 ship just for a price point example, right? Let's use doesn't matter, Reliant Tana. So from the Reliant Tana, what are the other ships that are likely to get a Warbond from the Reliant Tana to it? These are out. They're too low priced because the smallest Warbond sales give you You spend 5 and save 5, so it's a $10 difference. So it would have to be at the bare minimum a $10 difference in price, and usually it's 15. So you couldn't use anything that's 80 because if it goes on sale, it's going to be below the $75 price threshold here, right? It's a $75 ship, right? So that would be the same price point of that G12, right? And from there, you go G12 to maybe Gladius has a Warbond come back. That would be perfect, right? Because that's $15. You'd spend 5 to save 10. Nailed it. What else do we have? In that price point of $90-ish. It's really just the Storm and the Hull A. Maybe the Hull A would have another one. That could happen, right? Arrow is 75 as well. Okay, so it's the same price point. Perfect. So I've already got Arrow to Avenger Warlock, so Warlock would work. So it would be any of these $85 or more ships. The Herald, the Warlock, the Gladius is another $5, right? So this would be spend 5 to save 5. This would be spend 5 to save 10 on a good one. Same for the Hull A and the Storm. So that's kind of how you would speculate that whole run from, okay, I think I can buy the G12 $5 upgrade from this other lower price ship, and then I know because of my other change where it will end up. Maybe it's a $75 ship, maybe it's only 70, and then you can kind of work that into your chain all the way up the chain. Doesn't matter if it's a G12, doesn't matter if it's the Perseus. Well, I guess you can go beyond the Perseus. You could use it in the last end of your chain, but for the stuff in the middle, right, you could use literally anything that's a concept ship right now and kind of build that into a chain, either to the concept ship or to something much higher priced than the concept ship, and just use it in the middle somewhere. So I mentioned earlier that I would talk about something that made me cry because I screwed something up because I wasn't paying attention, right? Well, even guys that have played since 2016 absolutely make mistakes and forget to actually click buy. I didn't hit buy. Right here, Constellation Aquila to Gemini should be in this slot right here, and it's not because I forgot it. Emotional damage. I just didn't hit the buy button. So I'm really hoping the Gemini comes back around as a Warbond in the grand finale, or maybe IAE, or maybe even Invictus next year, because I need this one to fill out this slot. I don't need to spend 35, right? That was a decent savings there that I'm missing out on because I just didn't get it done. So, yes, even guys that have played as long as I have make some silly mistakes like this, folks. So don't be too hard on yourself if you miss out on something. Maybe it'll come back around, maybe it won't. But regardless, the chain will eventually work its way out. And all will be well. I promise. Anyway, that's it for me this week, guys. Zi-Tek, out.